Hello, everybody. Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night. We're broadcasting live here on the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans. And with me, I am your host, Don Yazzie. And with me is my co host, Darren Yazzie. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up? Well, the
D1.
hour's nigh, huh?
Oh, yeah. D1 and the only, guys, Darren
Mm,
Yazzie. Um,
yes.
Ladies out there, he's a hardworking man. He gets to work. He doesn't mess around. So, he's single. So it might cost you a cow and a couple sheep and some. I need some more jewelries. No, just kidding. but yeah,
Yes, sir.
we have our guest today is Jenny Muckerson and Norman Patrick Brown, and they'll be joining us as soon as they can. They'll pop up and we'll add them on here. But um, but yeah, they are going to be very interesting people to chat with about. They have stories of Bigfoot. Norman is a speaker. They're both filmmakers. Norman's a traditional Navajo guy out of the New Mexico side, and we can't wait to hear what he has to say, the teachings, and we're all going to be joining in with our ears and open minds, and we'll be like little children again, sitting there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jenny is head of the Ramah Navajo Bigfoot squad out there by Pine Hill, New Mexico area. And let's see here. They'll join us as soon as they can.
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. All right, right here. First comment. Waiting for the Mr. Yazzies, plural, or should I say, waiting double D's.
Damn it, man.
Audacious Amber, what's up? What's up? Let's see. Wait, let's see here. Says, wait, what? An uncle isn't available.
oh,
You heard it.
oh shit.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here. Let's see here, Mr. Curly. 4 cell, 4 goats, and 1 ram. There you go. Right there. The bid will start right there. Anyone has the highest bid is the winner. Kurt W75. Hey guys, great to see you both. Excited for the chat. Yeah, what's up, Kurt? Nice to see you guys. Nice to see you guys. Yeah, I am waiting. Let's see
Yep.
here. Whenever I think
Yeah. The
I think
important thing is uh, these guys are actually from my neighborhood right there in the trees, where all my wild things are, and they're amongst us.
whoa, we don't want to
So
go to that forest. Nah, just kidding. I'll just
yeah, I was surprised to see the a sticker that they had at the store. Raymond Navajo Bigfoot Group. Man,
I
put a
li-
smile on my face. So,
right. I would like one of those pictures or one of those stickers. I like those stickers. It's
mm,
pretty cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
people back home, just open your eyes and let's hear what they have to say. But I'm kind of
hmm
curious myself.
right.
Yep.
So yeah, they'll get on. Let's predict this. Let's see here. Let's say they get on in 1 minute or 3 minutes. What do you say? Do you think they're good? No, just kidding. But
Uh,
yeah, anyways, up there, you guys. This next guest, Chris, is coming back on for part two. He's a Algonquin, out there in
mm,
Canada. Um, he's gonna be coming back on, and we're gonna get deeper into the occult and deeper into more of his weird stories, weird sightings, and all that stuff. And after that, we're bringing in a Navajo lady. And oh, here we go. Yeah, it's Mr. Norman
yeah,
Patrick
too.
Brown. Yeah, it's
Oh, yeah, they.
Hey,
Uh, eh.
hey, Mr. Brown. Nice to see you.
Yep,
Nice to
nice
have you
shirt.
guys on.
Nice shirt.
Oh,
Oh man, oh man,
Is he
that is
surfing?
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Humboldt County.
Nice. He's helping out the beavers. Oh, Humboldt, is that California? I used
Yeah.
to live in I used to live in Humboldt County, California, a place called Hoopa Valley.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I have an aunt that used to be married out there, and I have a couple cousin sisters that are half Hoopa and half Navajo. So it's one
Oh,
I call Hoopa my second home. It's beautiful. It's opposite from where I come from. That's why.
so they're
So
hoopah. Huh?
yeah, I really like it out there. I miss the frogs. The frogs are really loud. It's like a gigantic frog is somewhere down there at the river. It's pretty cool. But yeah, Mr. Norman Patrick Brown, we are gonna hand the mic off to you, and you can introduce us and walk us into your life and tell us who you are, and you can take us wherever you want to go from there. But go ahead.
Wow. It's kind of odd because you grew up and your teachings were always don't talk about yourself, don't brag about yourself.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Um, yeah, my name is Norman Patrick Brown, and I'm Tsednapishli. Aro Pepitoti, A Bush's Chin, Anagati, A Dashanella Kaba, A Dashache. Chin Lee, there, oh, yes, sir. Nasha, Chin Lee. Um, I'm a filmmaker, actor, done a lot of plays and theater. That was my foundation of my acting. Worked professionally in Canada. Um, did a off Broadway. I worked in New York City. I lived in Manhattan for a couple of years back
Oh,
in the
Hmm.
nice.
80s. Uh, for a while there, I was doing a lot of professional photography. Then I got into acting, some various feature film roles, some supportive roles. Um, like then I kind of stepped away, but I've always done a lot of screenwriting. A lot of my short films were all in Navajo. Um, Awakening, that was my first short film. It was all in Navajo. In fact, it premiered at the Sundance Film Festival 1990, early 90s as the first indigenous language film drama short. And then my second film was called Faint Being Horse Song, and that was also was the second Native American ever indigenous language. And I've written Res Hope, numerous other small documentaries for K through 12. Um, I've also worked in Hollywood as a consultant. One was for JAG, a TV series. The other one was The Pretender. This was like way back in the 90s. Um, but most of my life, I've been an activist, I guess you might say,
Mhm.
protector, defender of our lands and resources. Over my lifetime, I've worked with a lot of grassroots organizations, communities, the Medicine Man's Association, the Net Coffee Association,
Cool.
in various capacities. I've organized against uranium mining. I've helped organizations with RECA, uh, Radio Radioactive Exposure Compensation Act. Um,
I gotta go get
I,
checked for that.
so I've mentored a lot of young people in the grassroots political area, as well as acting, um, young directors. So that's been primarily my life, is dedicating my talent to preserving and encouraging the Navajo way of life, Navajo culture. Um, I always say that my work is the work of resistance, and I always encourage our young people to resist in every way, because there's times up ahead, even today, that are the U.S. government, the states are really questioning our independence, questioning our way of life, questioning our tie to the land, and hence the resource extraction industries, the corporations, and as well as the Navajo Nation. We've been active discussions about them, about strengthening the laws that protect our resources, our land, water, the cleanups of the uranium mines. And so there's a lot of work that still needs to be done regarding the Navajo people. And there's a lot of people out there doing it in various capacities, just like yourselves. You are, in many ways. I watched a few of your podcasts, and it was pretty cool to see Navajos expressing themselves. So I looked at it, and we did a lot of research on your podcast, and I didn't feel anything negative. I felt that it was really heartfelt, and just from my own perception, that the speakers were all genuine, real, and that's the best. The best interviews are those that come in and that
Exactly.
are pure of heart, and they express themselves, their truths. So I looked at this, and I thanked Jenny. She's my adopted sister. She's Irish. And
Hmm.
my family, I come from a large family in Chinle. Um, we adopted her into our family. So I call her Shada, my older sister. And so when she goes, she always says, I'm sending out Bishni. So yeah, we're really tight, and we share a lot of things, stories, and so I was wondering how I was going to contribute to this. And in many ways, you could take the paranormal from a Navajo perspective into a negative, then a positive. So how do I promote this positivity about something that is unseen, something that is really powerful, the energies, how people use that energy, how people use it to harm people, to destroy people. And the reality of all this is that it's in every culture. Um, the African nations, they have similar to us. Even the Asians, and they call them shamanism, in their perception. There's that world too of negative and positive. Even in the Bible, I mean, everywhere in humanity, there's always that dark side, and you have the light. And sometimes the dark side is used to enlighten, to bring light to, and vice versa. So in our culture, as you know, there's the male and female, and the left side is the male, and the right side's the female. In terms of our cosmology, um, the male is more aggressive, more violent. It seems like the thunder, the lightning, the rain. There's male rain. Then there's the gentle female rain.
Mhm.
Um, Within ourselves, you have anger, hate, maybe extreme jealousy. Those are kind of characteristics of a male uh,
Yeah.
uh, perception. Then the females, forgiveness, love. So the whole idea, what I've learned over the years and through teachings, is that we have to have a balance.
Yeah.
What is that balance? Um, how is that balance necessary in this world today? And you achieve balance by learning, whether it's negativity. You learn through experience. You learn through personal mishaps, or you learn through um, personal tragedies, or anything personal that has impacted your life negative with negative energy.
Mhm.
Um, we all have that. And what are the
Mhm.
causes of that? How does that evolve, and how does that become part of our lives that many of us don't want to accept? And the reality for me in my own personal life is that it'll always be there. That negativity, that dark side, it's always there. Just like the light, the love and peace, that healing part is always there too. So, like I said, how do we own it? How do we become the masters of ourselves, of our minds? And it was really interesting. Grandma told me one time, he goes, in Navajo, son, life is a mind game. Um, and I really tried to understand that from a Navajo perspective and how she shared that. And it is true. You must have a strong mind. Your clarity, your mental clarity is important for spiritual growth, emotional growth, spiritual growth, mental growth. And that's just a part of the body system. And then of course you have the inner spirit, or some people call it the soul, but there is something inside of us. And she had mentioned that in all of creation there is that spirit, or some people call it light, some people call it energy, but there is an essence that is alive throughout this universe, that are unseen, that um, we can't see but we feel. And that's where these healers come in. These some people call them psychic, some people call them intercessors, people call them interpreters. So there's various labels uh, that we give as people to this understanding of what is energy.
Mhm.
And then you have some that are born with it, that already know that something's wrong, or they already can communicate to that other side, or they're in tune with the wind. The energy of the wind tells them things, and the crystal and the water and the fire, and the stars. So there's all this divine connection that humanity over the centuries, and it's always come down to, how do you use it? Is that of personal benefit, for personal wealth, or is it for the people? Is it for the community? So in our instance, from the net perception, from what I've learned and was taught, is that our gifts are really belongs to the people. Um, as Grandma said, what you have doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the mountains. It belongs to the ancestors. It belongs to the unborn, because it's what you do with it. That energy of understanding, of seeing, of knowing, that some people have, that pray with it, that heal with it. So there is something special. And she did mention that we're all born with it. It's in each and every one of us. Um, the other thing she said that was, before the coming of the Europeans, our Navajo people, they didn't need to speak to each other. There was a point there way in the past where we connected with telepathy, and we connected with each other. We had our own way of transferring information over the land. She gave an instance where our warriors could talk to the other side of, Western agency, or she said we knew how to connect with each other. There was a pathway. an ancient pathway, and those connections were um, inherent. And when we do our songs and prayers, it multiplied that energy, it multiplied that understanding, and that direction, or that inner power that you have. And she said that's why the ceremonies are very crucial to our survival. Yeah, we can live among each other with these gifts, but if you don't have those ceremonies, those teachings, the initiations, it's not as powerful, and it doesn't affect the universe that we live in. And she said that it's our indigenous prayers from all over the world, from Europe, Africa. It's our ceremonies, our dances is what makes this earth turn, and that's what creates that balance in climate. Since we've forgotten, she gave examples of the climate change. She goes, is that a direct result of our losing our dances, our ceremonies? Not only Navajos, but the Hopis, Pueblos, Lakota. She named. She was that's from my understanding that she said I'm sharing with you, son. So I always ask a lot of questions, and I asked about um, this phenomenon that people are interested in, like Dark Wind, that crappy show.
It
It,
is.
it's it's horrible. I mean,
I agree with you.
I watched off and on, and I just turned it off. And it's a narrative that doesn't belong to us. It's a narrative on fantasy. It's a narrative on self promotion. It's egotistical, and its main basis was created from Tony Hillerman's books. I read
Mhm.
one book, and I didn't like it because we were portrayed as evil, dark, witchcraft people. We steal, we murder, we lie. It's a complete opposite of really who we are as a people. So you have a Lakota, a Southern Cheyenne. You have these wealthy Bilaganas from Santa Fe. They got together and say, hey, let's make some money. Let's make some money off some Navajos.
Mhm.
So that's how it evolved. And so the Pueblos, this was their first major project. They created a studio outside of Santa Fe. And it kind of upset me when I saw how this all came together. There was no Navajos at the beginning of this creation of Dark Wind. There was no above the line, no producers, no directors, no writers. Um, so it was really an exploitive process. Me as a filmmaker looking at how this project evolved. And the sorry thing about this is we play into it, the net people.
Yeah.
We become their consultants, and we use the Navajo language as a title of an episode that really pissed me off, because my dad is a Navajo code talker, and growing up, he always told us, "You protect your language. That language should never be in the enemy's mouth. They should never speak this. Um, and if you define a nacha in our Navajo ceremonial concept, Navajo cosmology, anybody who is not the Dene is an enemy. If you marry Lakota, they're the enemy. You marry Chicano, they're an enemy, and the Bilaganas, and so that was the way we looked at things in the past. So now you have enemies speaking our language, enemies um, making a shitload of money based on us. And the interesting thing about this is that what if we made a TV series called Dark Kiva?
Mhm.
and we portray the language,
Yeah.
stories about a certain Pueblo group, and delve into their ceremonial cycle, delve into their stereotypes and misconceptions, so that's how I viewed it.
Hmm.
And,
Exactly.
what do you think about it, Norm? I said, I call it fart win.
Hmm.
Downwind.
People get all people get all touchy and shit. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't care. You're not the name.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. I was like saying like, if we can do like a really accurate documentary on what happened in the past between us, America, Mexico, Spain, and other enemy tribes. I mean, it'd be really, really controversial. It'd be really graphic
Yeah,
and dirty,
Hmm.
dirty warfare.
yeah.
Oh
This
yeah.
A lot of people wouldn't stand for that, and they wouldn't want to see it.
Yours, I thought, wow, this is his narrative. He's bringing across a narrative. He's in control of that narrative. He defines what that narrative is, and looking at it, and the way you present yourself is really in a good way, humble way. You don't encourage any of the negativity. You're just saying, hey, look, this is what's happening on our nation, and this is so for me. I learned a lot. I
Mhm.
learned like that last series I saw was about that hunter talking about Bigfoot that's 12, 13, 14 feet,
Hmm.
and he talked about how it came, so I learned a lot from my own perspective. If that
Mhm.
happened to me, I think I would do this, so um
You have mind speak with him.
yeah, so I so when I looked at that and Dark Wind, and I saw some of Navajo actors. That's cool. That's their path. I'm not down on the actors, or but what I'm down on is what I don't like is exploitation of our the net process. Our cosmology, our language, our because when you see Dark Wind now, there's people writing books about the net people now. They're coming out with scripts asking Navos to create, their dialogue for them. I'm saying to all the Nana people, leave them alone. Let them, whatever. Let's create our own, and we are doing that. There's various filmmakers on Navo now. Um, so there are people who weren't imprisoned at Fort Sumner for that language. We have every right to our own stories, and you know but there are good brothers and sisters out there, allies that are now Navajo that I've worked with, as a co-producer, and Jenny is one of them. She really did a lot of research, and so there's advisors that I have. I have a world-renowned linguist that helped me. I have traditional practitioners of the enemy way, I guess you might call it, and then
Mm.
Wajonja way. So I'm very careful. There's a line. There's certain words that I don't use. So it's really a community when I do my films. It's not just me. And
That's good.
clarification of language is really critical. Usage of language is really important. So when I see Dark Wind, the butchering of our language, and I see the title of an episode in our language, it just really bothers me, and I've asked others to join me, and so it seems like no one really wants to speak out, but I'm thinking about um, their next series. Are they going to have a next series? So it came to
I
four.
hope not.
So um, and if you look at our president, they had the beginning of this past the season, they went to New York City. This big wealthy gala of black tie and all that crap, and the president was up there. It's like, why, if you were so, why couldn't you have it here in Gallup? Because they know they'd see me and others there, and they know that they wouldn't have that on Navajo, so they had to go somewhere else. And the president supported that, and someone exploiting our language, money, creativity, So that's what I wanted to share. But in terms of your show, like I said, you own that narrative. You're from the res, and you herd sheep. You're one of us. So I'm glad that you're doing it. And just to introduce myself, I analyze a lot as a screenwriter, and I advise a lot of people, in different ways, and how to come into a Navajo community, how to work with the Net people. It's all based on trust, So that's kind of been my role, and right now I'm co-chair of the Navajo Code Talkers Committee, Descendants Committee. So on August 14th, we're having a gathering at Navajo Code Talker Day. It's a national holiday, and we're hosting it at the Navajo Nation Museum. We're having a 5K run honoring the Navajo warriors, World War II, and we're going to have a parade of all the descendants. Basically, it's just families, no major floats, just pictures, and so it's a nice family community thing.
Good vibes only. Awesome.
Wow.
And so could you tell us what's the most furthest you can remember on your paranormal experiences, or when you're practicing your medicine man journey? Like, what's the most weirdest thing that ever happened to you as far back as you can remember?
Um, I'm not like I'm not a medicine man or anything, but I've helped a lot of medicine people in various capacities, gathering herbs and learning and
Apprentice. Your
yeah.
apprentice. Yeah.
I don't know. That's too big a word for me, but yeah, I'll share it. To tell you the truth, my first paranormal experience was before I was born. It sounds odd,
Oh no, it sounds really interesting. Go ahead.
but over my lifetime, I've dealt with paranormal activity, and I've at a young age, I've had experiences and I didn't understand, and I've always had problems in different ways, situations where I was put in places where I had no connection to whatever that situation was, but I was blamed. Um, a lot of attacks personally throughout my lifetime. Things happening to me, like a lot of mishaps, a lot of unlucky stuff. But somehow I've always survived. I've almost lost my life a few times, and I'm just like freaking amazed, that I'm still here, and I'm thankful. And as time went on, I've seen different medicine people, and they said, this happened to you, this was done to you when you were a teenager, and this is why this happened to you. So we got to go way back and destroy that. Like, it'll be let's say an image of me down in the canyon of Anasazi, so that had to be taken care. So there's so many instances like that where we had to go back and cleanse whatever those people call them, spells. People call them whatever that 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 language is. You know, I call it dark energy, the unseen energy.
Yeah.
And I've had accidents. I've had so many things in my life. It's just really amazing. And like as one day where I was living back home in this community, and it was so hot inside. It was probably about 11 o'clock, and I was the only one at home. My family had gone on a trip and they were coming back. And, you know, I was there. I was about 9 years old. And I turned off the TV, and, you know, I was just sitting there in the dark, and it was really hot. So I went outside. I stepped outside, and there was a tree probably about this, about like that, in the front yard. And all the limbs were cut. And, you know, there was, the tree was all, the branches were on top. Well, I stepped outside and I saw this black thing really fast,
Oh.
and it stopped behind the tree, and it was looking at me. Then it went across the street. There's a street light behind a row of BIA housing. So it came, it stopped at the tree, and it went to that light post, that wooden light post. And I could see the outline, the sides of it, like for a second and a half. And it moved again behind the trash can, all in my visual sight. Took about 3 seconds. And I was like, did I just see that? And that freaked me out. But so then I went inside. Then another time we were sleeping, there's a group of us. We're all like 9, 10, 11 years old. And we all slept outside. And one night, we were all up talking, laughing. So we all crashed out, and we're all laid together like this. There was 5 of us. No, 4 of us. There was 2 here. The 2 of the others, our heads were facing each other. We were looking up at the stars. We're all talking. One of the my cousin brothers went to sleep. There were 3 of us were talking. Then finally there was 2 of us. Then we went to sleep. And I was laying on my side. My cousin brother was facing me the same way. I was like 9 years old, 10 years old.
Hmm.
And he grabbed my t-shirt, and he goes, shh. And I was like laying there, and I said, what's going on? You know, and he goes, he's really afraid.
Oh.
So then we were laying there, and he goes, shh. He said, he kept pointing like that. And then finally, I guess that thing left. And then he woke us up. He woke me up. He woke up my 2 bros. He goes, let's go run. Let's go back to the house. About 2 in the morning. And we just took our our sleeping bags, and we ran across. And his dad happened to be a medicine man. And we were pounding on that door. Finally he opened the door, and we all fell onto the floor. And it was behind us. And he asked, he goes, what's happening? What's happening, son? He goes, there's this thing that was crawling around us, kept crawling around us, sniffing us. And
Oh,
I saw it. And it was like a wolf with a face. It was crawling.
ooh.
Yeah, that tripped me out. So we ran inside, and he was standing there, and he goes, there's something out back. And that freaked all of us out too. His mom got up, and he got his rifle.
Mhm.
And he put the ash on the bullet, the ash on the barrel. Then he put ash on himself. Real quick, he did it. He took his rifle out, and real slow he went out, and he opened the door, and that thing took off, and he shot around, And he goes, yeah, that thing came around. And that was another experience. Another one was, there's so many. But though that was pretty terrifying because I guess it was just right around us.
Mhm.
There's just so many. Then there was another time where when we were young, we party here and there sometimes, and
Yeah.
it was like the 70s, uh, 76, 70, 78, around that, after high school, and we with the Chinle Canyon de Chelly, and there's a spot there that a lot
Ooh.
of us used to go and hang out. And well, one night we were all sitting in there, and the brother had some beer, and we're sitting there, and um, we're sitting there, and he goes, "What's that?" He's like, "What? What was that? What's that?" He goes, "Look up front." And there's this dark thing there, and it was standing there, and it was like a little bit of moonlight. You could just see this figure standing there.
Hmm.
And you know what he does is he flips on the light, and there's this thing sitting there. It has painted white, and
Ooh.
got it
Mm.
like that. It was gone, like was gone. And
Hmm.
we're all like, "Let's get out of here!" So we left, took off. So then caught one outside the tree where we were at. We were camped out, and one of my relatives comes. He crawls where I was sleeping in the tent. I had the rifle with me because they were harassing that family there. So they asked, they say, "Hey, brother, can you come help us?" Like, "What do you want? What do you want? Help?" He goes, "This thing coming around, and it's doing a lot of bad stuff. It's been happening. So what do you want?" He goes, "Can you come hang out with us? We're kind of afraid." So me and another bro of mine, we spent the night there. We got our rifle, and I had a 22, and so we stayed up all night, few nights. Um, then that one night, he crawled. The tents were like the triangle. There was two here, the other one was here, and he crawled out of there, and he says, "Darman, Darman, Darman." I said, "What's up?" He goes, "There's something in that tree, that big tree near the road." Oh, okay. So he crawled out, and there was already around it. I took the safety off, and it was a semi-automatic. It was a 22 long, and he goes, "It's on that lower branch on the left side." So I kind of looked. So then I got up. We both got up real fast, and I shot around. I shot two quick rounds, and all the dogs, even across, they started barking. And our dogs went to that tree.
Oh man.
The dog would follow it. It went back. It went back there, and so I had the 22, and I shot around into the air in the back, and whatever that was back there started screaming. Even though I wasn't aiming at it, I shot to warn it, but it was screaming, and that would tripped us out. So
Yeah.
next morning, went to that tree, and there was an indentation from the tree into that soft dirt, and it's like someone on their knees landed like this, and you could see their foot. So
Yeah.
that thing landed on its knees, and you saw the knees kind of move like this, the dirt. And so I guess we almost got it. So we went there, and I called one of my brothers, one of my bros, who's a medicine. I said, "Hey, this is what happened." He goes, "Do you have an arrowhead?" I said, "No, I got a spear point." He goes, "That's even better." I said, "Wow,
Uh-huh.
what's up?" He goes, "Go over there, put that right where that indentation is. Give
Mhm.
it to the holy people." It's not for you to deal with. It's let them take care of it. Just say, hey, look, these guys are harassing us. Just tell them the little story. Put that in there, and he said, once you put that in to that imprint, then you say that it doesn't belong to me. It belongs to you. Whatever that is, it's yours. And you tell the holy people that's theirs. That that doesn't let it go back to whoever created that. So that's the first thing I learned. So now, if I see things in around the house or my friend's house, I tell them just put an arrowhead in there and just give it to the holy people. So that's how I've learned to deal with that. There's also herbs, Navajo herbs. I'm not going to tell you which herbs, but you can just inquire. But there's different herbs that you can drink that cleanses your body, and it cleanses your mind. You can sprinkle it all around the house. It's really powerful. It's real. So that's how I've learned to deal with stuff like that. I also use Winishkish, the fire poker.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Like one was long time ago. We were sleeping in the front room in one of those BIA housing south of Chinle, and we heard this kind of like knocking noise, like kind of weird noise, and there was three of us, and one of the ladies gets up and she looks over and she goes down and she started breathing real hard. She couldn't talk. She kept going like that, and I woke up and I was wondering what she was. She goes, she was like that. She goes, I can't talk, and she was really scared. So I went over there and I looked over the window, and this thing was in the back of the truck, moving really fast, like looking inside. Then it was off. It went under the car, and I was like, this happened in like 3 or 4 seconds, and I was like, oh crap. So I put down and I said, there's something out there. Then she finally composed herself, and the other lady that was there, my cousin, she got up, and all three of us looked, and that thing got off the back of the truck. It went across to the other house, and the other house had a screen door.
Yeah.
And it was checking out the screen door real fast like that. It was like that. And my cousin's sister says, let me go get my window skish. She went out the door, and she put it over the flame, the fire stick, and she blew on it, and it got red, and that thing was going around that house. And she pointed it over there, and she goes, pa, pa. That thing, we watched it. That thing stopped. Like it just literally stopped.
Oh.
And we looked at it. She did it again. Pa, pa. And that thing was like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like they were cramped or something. They weren't fast. That thing wasn't fast, so it was real slow.
Wow. That's crazy.
Then we watched it. Then when it got out of our view, all around the housing, the dogs started barking all the way around. All the way. We went to the back window. She still had that thing, that fire going, or that coal. Pa, pa. And it's like that thing would stop with that pa. And all the dogs were going to that, whatever that was, and it take off, and she did it again. We were watching this. All this 2 minutes. A minute and a half to 2 minutes. When we got it, we saw it. She lit that real fast. We went around. It was like it was already like a quarter of a mile. And every time she stopped, that thing would. Every time she go like that, that would the dogs would go there.
Jeez.
That that was trippy. So that word "pa" is powerful. It's real.
Yeah.
It's
My
real. For
grandpa my
yeah,
grandpa used to tell us to say that like whenever something would come around, depends on how bad it is, would be outside. It would depend on how much ash he would apply on us.
yeah,
Sometimes he would throw the whole bucket of ash on us, boom, and then he'd be saying "pa pa pa." He'd be putting some on his thumb. I guess there's some stories where you would say you would do like a little spell, and you would flick it off your thumb, and that ash will leave your thumb and turn into an arrowhead, and it will fly to that
yeah,
skinwalker, and you would hear it connect, and you would hear that skinwalker cry or wail.
yeah.
And I
Mm,
have another friend that I'm trying to get on here. He's gonna tell us a story about how his dad got ahead of a skinwalker. He drew a line on the sand with I think with the arrowhead, and he did a spell on there, and he put the arrowhead right where that wash is because the skinwalker was traveling through the wash. He placed the arrowhead there. He went behind a hill and he was praying for himself because he knew whatever he was going to see, he was going to be afraid of it because it was going to be horrible looking. And sure enough, he heard this thing galloping, running and running and breathing hard. And he heard a like a connection. Boom! That thing collapsed, and you would hear a man wailing in pain. And he walked behind the hill, and he had another arrowhead. He was ready with that arrowhead, and what he said, he described he seen a man, upper body of a man, and his lower body was a horse.
mm,
And he was telling him because before that encounter, he was a cop out in Helchita, Utah. There was a police station in Helchita a long time ago, and he was sleeping in there, and he seen the skinwalker climbing through a window crack, this small, like a window. He crawled through there and went over him. He was hovering over him. He opened his eyes, and he seen he had yellow face paint with white stripes here and there. And he let out a gasp. That guy disappeared. Boom! He went back out the window. He jumped in his police car. He drove from Helchita all the way to a place called Train Rock outside of Aljato. There's this
Yeah,
wash, so he was right there. He was behind the hill by the wash by the pavement road. So he crossed. That's where he got him, and he interrogated him. And all that skinwalker told him was those people from Black Mesa, no, Navajo Mountain, and those areas paid him to get rid of him. So
mm,
he said that if I see you again, I'm taking your life. So he let him go, and he said years later down the road, he went to a swap meet in Kienta, and he seen that old man, and he said he knew it was him without the face paint. And he was all trying to offer him free food, a drink, trying to offer him free stuff. He was being really nice to him. And he looked at him. He's like, I don't want anything from you. I already know who you are. And that guy
huh,
just, everything, his face just dropped and he walked away. So,
yeah,
it is real, that
yeah.
stuff.
I
yep,
mean, my bros that I grew up with, like they lived out in the country, and it's
Yeah.
just a normal occurrence. Seemed like,
Hmm.
and what I learned is that um, if you give it energy, you
Fear.
make them more powerful.
Yeah.
But if you have a state of mind where it's like, yeah, whatever, I know you're there, whatever, you keep going.
Yeah.
And we've done that before. We were camping out and my bro's kind of like psychic. He goes, yeah, there's something out there. It's checking us out. He goes, just leave it alone. Don't give it energy. If you have fear, they smell it and they'll come and they'll take advantage of you. So he was teaching us that.
Exactly. Uh-huh.
And
mm,
so then bitter medicine. That's really powerful too. I use that a lot. Um, so when I go in large crowds, I do that. Um, what I'm sharing with you is what every Navajo probably knows. It's like nothing new. Um, the other
Some.
thing too is that
Mhm.
if you allow them to overcome you, they will.
Yeah.
What I mean, I'm meaning those people that are really gifted, that have used that gift in the wrong way. And like my uncle, he said that. I said, what do you get? He said, there's nothing you can do about it. It'll always be like that. That's how this world is. One can't live without the other. Dark can't live without light. And it's just the way it is. It will never change.
Yep.
And so your role, he said, is to live the best you can. And one thing that is really intense is when you get sick. When things are done to you, you get real sick and you think you're gonna have a heart attack. And like one time I went to the hospital, my heart was freaking racing, man. I was sweating. And I went in there. I rarely go. I always do my own prayers, but I went there and right away they saw me and they hooked me straight up to EKG, all the things. I was sweating. And they said, "What's up?" And I said, "This is what's happening to me." And so he goes, "I'm going to do my rounds. I'll be back." So he goes, "Just settle down and we'll see what this thing says." So he came back and I said, "Here it goes again. Here it goes again. My heart's racing. Here I go." I start panicking, start tripping out. Not really crazy, but I was just tripping out within myself, was freaking out. And I said, it's right happening right now. And he looks at the monitor. He goes, "Your heart rate's normal." But meanwhile, inside me is like going crazy. And I thought,
That's not right.
let me check your stuff. So he goes, "Everything seems good, but your heart's normal." And I was like, "Oh, I get it. You'll make yourself get sick, right?" So then when you do have those things attack, you have to get those things taken care of, because if you don't, it's like one of those it's like a porcupine quill. Whatever they put inside you, it's not going to stop. Like a porcupine quill will keep going. It'll keep going like that till
Oh,
as far as it'll go. That's whatever that energy is they put in you. It comes the arrows in different ways. And so when that's done, when you gotta have someone take that out of you. And then I call it integration, where you have to, your body has to reset, your spirit has to reset, your mind has to reset, your emotional has to reset. So then you get rid of it one way or the other, through here or down there, and that's how you get rid of it. And the herbs. So that's how I've been able to deal with that throughout my life. And for some reason, some people just attract that negative stuff. And it's like, do I have a bullseye on my forehead, or, so I've always tried to understand why, why I don't even know that person, or they say, um, so for me, there's all different types from my personal experience.
Hey, Jenny.
Hey, Don. Hey, Darren. Boy, my brother, isn't he something? I'm just sitting here in the audience,
sorry.
a fan,
uh,
It's amazing. Love
Hmm.
to listen to his voice, and so much of what he's been talking about mentioned when we started making the movie Poison Wind, which of course was about uranium mining on the indigenous lands of the Southwest and in the Grand Canyon, we knew we were taking on a, a tough subject. And Norman warned us in the beginning that, things may happen to you. Uh, People may want to put things inside of
Uh,
hurt you. Um, and so, I took what he said very seriously, as I always do. And one night down at our
the
house in Gilbert, Arizona, it was in the evening, and
the
all of a
I think
sudden,
we
my
have
dog.
hey
internet.
Jenny. I
Yeah,
think
can you
I
hear
think
me?
I think we got internet malfunction. You're like breaking up a little bit. I thought it was just me, but I guess.
Man, I was
Oh,
thinking the same thing too myself, man.
yeah.
Is that
Okay. How about say something again? Sorry.
is it better?
Yeah, it got a little better now. It got
Okay,
a little better.
I'll stay close to the router then. Um,
Ooh.
so what happened is I was reading or doing something on the computer,
Is it
and
still not the same?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still the same.
okay, let me
Maybe outside, huh?
Here, get it.
okay.
Are you guys on the same? Oh, yeah.
In the
Just
same room.
yeah.
Maybe
Just
you
go ahead
guys
and
can
jump
go in
on.
the same phone. Yeah, maybe it'll be
Yeah.
better.
Okay.
Where's she at? There we go. See, look at that. That phone's a lot better.
Hi.
Sorry, I barely. Yeah, I barely. Sorry about that, Norman. I barely seen her down here at the screen this whole time. I was like, oh snap! I was waiting for her to like hop on with you. Oh, I'm so sorry.
So,
I just derailed what you
so
were
the
saying
idea
earlier.
is
Hmm.
um, don't don't believe the lie. Don't allow yourself to be a slave to someone's magic or someone's energy. Do not allow yourself, do not give in, do not become a victim. And like, how do you do that? Well, you can smoke tobacco, take the bitter medicine, put ash. Just very simple things. Those simple things are very powerful. But it, like I said, it's a mind game. If your mind believes it, your body's going to react, and that's where this panic starts coming in. That anxiety and the breathlessness and no breath breathing, um, lightheadedness. So when you begin to uh, feel those, whatever it might be, what I've learned is that you just sit, just breathe, reinforce yourself, call your holy people or whatever way you are, the way you know, and ask for help. And that's always helped me. And then sometimes you just have to go see a medicine, but there's just no other way. But my message to everyone, doesn't matter if you're in Africa or wherever, it's the same energy. It's no different than it is in Asia. It's just one energy that destroys. It creates havoc, and sadly, humanity uses that. Even the Christians, they have that energy. It's everywhere, from what I understand from talking to my lifetime with others, nationalities, and so the idea is you strengthen your mind, you strengthen your belief, and you strengthen your spirit. And then sometimes they'll say, well, I had a protection prayer. It didn't work. Well, you're alive. People expect the protection prayer to be like, that nothing will, yeah, it lessens it. it you know, it lessens it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to keep up with it.
So there's so much I'd like to share in terms of how do you deal with it, the aftermath, or how do you deal with it at the moment? You know, how do you know that you're going through something that's negative, that's going to impact your life? You know, but at some point, I'll share a little bit of that. Then you know, here's Jenny.
Hi, Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
Hey, first of all, I'm very excited to be here today and be with my brother here in Gallup. And, you know, what I was saying earlier, when we first started making the movie Poison Wind about uranium mining, you know, Norman sat us down and said, you know, some things might happen. You know, there might be some people that will come after you in other ways, you know. Maybe not with a gun, but you know, with maybe I might be at the supermarket and somebody might walk up and put, like you were saying, a porcupine quill or something in me that will harm, you know, to do harm. So I took what he said very seriously. And one night down at our house in Gilbert, we had this big old you know, this big old pine tree, man. This thing was just huge. And we had some French doors that looked from the kitchen out to it. So I'm sitting there, you know, reading or on the computer, and my Labrador, Murphy, my golden lab, he started growling, man. And he's looking up. I see him, his eye, and he starts barking. And so I go over and I thought, whoa, what the hell is that? You know, is that a raccoon or whatever? And there was, I won't say the word, because I saw one of those S-walkers was sitting right in on a lower branch, just sitting there. And he saw it. Murphy, the dog, he saw it. And then I saw it. And I didn't know what to do. So
Wow.
I called Norman right away, you know, and he told me to take, I think it was cedar. I can't remember, it was a while ago. But anyway, I did what he told me to do.
Ash.
Yeah, yes. And
Cedar ash.
yeah, and that was, but we did have another instance, my Labrador Molly, and it was okay. She wanted to have a litter. And so, but she only had one. They're actually known as singletons in the pup world, a dog that only has one pup. And so we named him Singleton, and he was big, healthy and happy. And then all of a sudden one morning got up and he couldn't walk. He was, you know, put him in the Jeep and drove right to the animal clinic in Tempe with him. And he passed away in the Jeep before that. But they were so curious because he was young and he was healthy. What did this? And they asked if they could look, and they found an arrowhead in him. And they showed it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they showed me the x-ray that they did too. Yeah.
Oh, so they found a real arrowhead in the little guy?
Yeah.
Oh man, poor guy. That's my favorite. That's my favorite dog.
You know, because I love my dogs are my kids, you know, they're my fur babies. And that's what he died. Yeah.
Oh man, sorry to hear
Ouch.
that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But
Oh,
you
that's
know,
horrible.
I mean, one of the reasons I'm out in Ramah is this guy right here, because we were working on another movie called The Rainbow Boy, based on a script, you know, that Norman had written, and we were moving forward filming with that. And because of the work with the uranium, I was diagnosed with lupus, which is an autoimmune disease, and it's very, oh man, the heat is so bad for it. So we started looking for places to live, and my husband kept saying, you know, why don't we'll find a place near Gallup so you can be near Norman, so the two of you can continue your work. So we did, and we looked at 3 places out by Ramah, Pine Hill area. And the first day, the second one we looked at, where I live now, I saw an orb, and I took a picture of it. I have an actual, it wasn't a digital, I had film at the time.
Mhm.
and you see it right by one of those old pinyons. It's just hanging there. And if you take a magnifying glass, you can look and see an angel in that orb.
Wow.
Hmm.
I
That's
said,
cool.
we looked at the other place and I said, honey, I said, this is because I was going to need to be up there during the summer so I could be near Norman and also, in our work and stay healthy. So get healthy. And so anyway, I said, this is it. I mean, it showed itself to me
Mhm.
in the middle of the day. So I knew that meant something, like meant something. So we bought the place and then we started having experiences with, I call him the big fella, the
Hmm.
big fella in his family. He go out every night with
Mhm.
red apple, the gift and stuff. Mr. Big Fella. But
Mhm.
things started happening, the shaking of the house was the first thing. I mean, and my husband was there too when that happened. And there were about 5 years of things going on. And then footprints, and then the scream. I call it a scream, but it was really a scream on steroids. I mean, it's just scream doesn't even
Yeah.
crash.
Yeah, it just gets louder and louder in like
Hmm.
25 seconds. Yeah.
And I was up there by myself because my husband would come up on the weekends from Gilbert, and but I had my dogs, and we all heard it. And I sat up, they sat up, but that was it. We were frozen. They couldn't move. I could not move. I knew it was right outside the house. So I called the Bigfoot Research Organization in the Northwest, called PROS, right? And
Pros.
Huh.
so we did an interview on the phone, and
Mm.
I called. I don't know where Norman was, but I talked to his brother Chap, and I told him what happened. And Chap said, "Well, you know who that was, don't you?" And so okay, so anyway, they took me very seriously, and they sent 3 people out, including Boyd Omer, he's part of Team Ramah. He lives in New Mexico, and plaster casted a lot of prints there, and told me that maybe I'd want to start like leaving food out or apples, and trying to create a balance with him. So that's what I started doing. And that's when things began to change and communication got really good. And I think in the beginning, when you're moving into their territory, they want to test you and see what you're made of. Are you good or are you not? And I think that's why they do some of the house shaking and throw rocks and things like that, because they've been there. I talked to a medicine man in Ramah, Harry Nez, and he said they've been here since the dawn of time. So that's what I believe now. I believe they are multidimensional, but when they're on this side, they're physical when they're here. And but I believe that they um, are able to cross over into different dimensions and realms.
Mhm. Mhm.
Wow.
Interesting. Darren, you have any
Well,
questions you want?
wow.
Yeah, because Darren's
First,
right out there
yeah,
too.
yeah, I'm right. I'm right there, and right now I'm just listening. There's time to listen. Time to hear. Right now, I'm just like really listening. I like Norman. I like how he talks. It's like that's some good truth that people just need to hear
Yes.
more out there. Is
You can put the
it's
phone
just
like long ways so we can get both of you. I think
Oh,
that would be great.
yeah. It's a good way to talk and a good way to communicate with others is use your voice. You when you talk, you can either bless or curse someone, and that's what I was taught. So it's like watch how you talk, watch your words, because that's your soul speaking out loud in this world.
Mhm.
uh, and it's always good to talk like this, even with the younger kids. I know that it's really difficult to talk, spiritually with the child, because they're so caught up in the world and being Native American. You can't not rule out the spiritual world. The spirit. You can't not look that down or look. So uh, it's really good to hear that. It's really good. I hear. I perfectly understand what you're talking about when you spoke. And there's a time for it to listen. That's communication that I like to hear, because it's rarely talked about. It's rarely spoken. Um, so for that, man, you pretty much open the ears to a large amount of people on this podcast. And people need to hear and to understand the Native American side of this world that we live in. And it's just it's the Native Americans. They're so outlawed and so looked down upon that we've been called savages. But yet at the end, we're still here, and we still got a lot to teach and a lot to understand. So the world needs to live. The world needs to know that we're still here. Native Americans we're still strong, and we're right now we have the ability to talk with using the internet, which is a good device, because I would never have met you, Patrick, and Norman, and Jenny, without this communication. Without this link. And thank you for taking your time out to join us and all the listeners out here.
I just want
Uh,
to thank you, Darren. Can I just say something real quick? Well, you just hit on it. When I started the group, the Facebook group,
mm,
reason I did it was and keep it private, is because I'd had my own events occur, you know, and talking to other people like in Ramah or out at Pine Hill, um, Lewis Trading Post, all these different
mm,
places. I found out that a lot of other people had had these experiences too.
oh,
And there are two women I know from Ramah who are wonderful, wonderful, loving grandmas. And I realized that one of them had PTSD from this. She could
Oh yeah.
talk about it. It was so out of her realm, she didn't know how to cope with it. And so I thought, well, maybe I could start a Facebook group and give a place where people would feel safe, could get more information, I could learn.
yeah.
And
It,
so it grew out of that, um, to help and maybe to educate through our own experiences like mine. I see him as a forest guardian. That's my own truth regarding him, and
mm,
but I realized too, I mean, it's just, I don't think there's anybody I've talked to really up in that area that has not had an experience with with portals, with UAPs, with
uh,
the big fella, everybody. It doesn't seem to know any age group, whether you're military, whether you're atheist, whether you're Christian, whether you're Mormon, whether you're whatever, it's a lot of people have had the same events occur. So I
mm,
just want to give everyone a home so they could come there and not be bullied and share.
Hmm,
yes, exactly,
that's awesome.
exactly. Uh,
Hey,
you know,
Norman, I wanted to. Oh, sorry, cut you off there.
oh
Yeah, I
yes,
want to go
yeah.
back to what you were saying earlier. Like half of, like, my uncle taught me like half of we're always a half, right? Us men, us male. Like he told me that left side is for your family. Your wife, your kids. that's your warrior side. You die for them.
Yeah.
Your job's to die for them. Then this side, is for like, family and all that stuff, your warrior side, and you have your equal side, the yin and the yang. It's the same teaching, the
Yeah.
same
Mhm.
thought behind that deal. And yeah, I just wanted to say that. It just
Yeah.
brought me back that teaching.
Like I was saying earlier, I was told that we were really psychic, that we could do mental telepathy and we could communicate. That's how we knew the enemy was coming. We had ways of transferring the information. There was various ways, but mostly, um, from what I understand, is that there's different, people call them realms or dimensions, or there's different spaces. I don't know if it's time, but there's different surreal spaces where that's the real world. That's
Hmm.
where
Mm.
life initiates itself, and that's where um, our connection is. What I mean by that is that you wonder how grandma can find a herb without knowing where it's at.
Yeah.
And she goes into this space, her sacred space within herself, with whatever those songs are. And she asks the plant people, and they'll tell her, we're on the other side of this mountain. There's a creek right there, and you'll see a big rock, or you'll see or either she'll see it or she's told. So then she says, well, let's go. Where are we going, Grandma? Because I don't know. We're going over this hill here, and we're going to get the herb. So follow her. And she's walking around. She goes, I can't see it. It's supposed to be around here somewhere. She goes, what kind of plant it is? It's a rare plant. It looks like this. I forgot the Navajo name. But
Hmm.
we kept looking and looking. And then sure enough, as we kept walking further into that creek up there in Lukachika, we found it.
Mm.
And she goes, it was like a patch, probably a 5 by 10, probably a patch of these plants that she was looking for. And that just blew my mind. And it's like,
Mm.
She's seen it.
so how did you? She goes, they told me. Who? The plant people. Plant people are like us. If they don't like something, they'll get up and move somewhere and they'll settle down. And if they like it, they'll stay there. But if they don't, they'll
Mm.
move somewhere else. So there's this whole different realm of connection with the unseen. And like the stories, there's so many. What I'm sharing with you, basic information, you could find it in the internet. And like one is, wow, those are beautiful feathers, Uncle. Where'd you get those beautiful feathers, tail feathers for your fan? He goes, well, went to this grandpa years ago, and he sang this song, and this eagle came, and he asked that eagle, I need your help. So that eagle gave its life. So all the insides were utilized. Every part of that bird was used in these major ceremonies. And how do they do that? Like another one is like they used to call deers. The deers would come, the big massive the males.
Hmm.
They would come and through a song.
Through songs, yeah, yeah.
And
Mm.
it's just all the stuff that I've heard over my
Hmm.
lifetime, these um, interaction with the unknown, and
Hmm.
how it comes out positive.
Hmm.
So when the Europeans came, those Bilaganas sure didn't like us
Hmm.
because we already knew they were lying. We already saw through them. We already knew their intent. No matter how much they tried to make things smooth, and there was always the net person there. He's lying. Though quit Ada. It's not
Ayun, chill. Mhm.
he's saying and they're wrong, they're lying. So then as time went on, not only the net people, all indigenous people were psychic. It was just very common because to be psychic, that word psychic, to be in connection with the universe was how it always was. Reciprocity. There's a place needs rain. Well, you go take your prayer over there and bring the rain.
That's what I was just gonna say. I was gonna share you like when you were saying the songs. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but share
Yeah,
a
no
quick
worries.
story here. About 3 years ago, I was in Cavito. I picked up my wife's uncle at the gas station. I was taking him home, and we were both talking, like how hot it is, and it's supposed to be monsoon right now. It was the summertime, and we need the rain. And he's just like, "Go, look that way. You see Navajo Mountain?" I was like, "Yeah," because I was driving. He was passenger, and he's all, "Keep looking at it, watch." And he started singing. He started chanting. He started singing, and I kept my eye on it. I was driving, and sure enough, I swear to you that the mountain's right here. I seen a cloud appear, right on top, and then the cloud started getting bigger. We're driving to the Navajo Mountains to the north, and White Mesa's right here to the south. And I seen a cloud forming on top of White Mesa, and the cloud reached all the way across to Navajo Mountain, and it started raining. Just well,
Hmm.
as he was singing the song.
Oh, wow.
So that was right in front of me, real time. So I seen that before, and I heard a lot of it. I heard a lot of stories of it, and it's different being there and seeing it and hearing it and seeing everything form together, come together like that. And this life is very mysterious, and that's one of the reasons why I want to start this podcast. To share with the world and audience, the non-Navajos or Navajos, tribal or non-tribal, about all these experiences. And just with our walk of life, being from here, the Southwest, we see a lot of unexplained, a lot of high strange, a lot of scary things and mysterious things. And I think that it makes life more wonderful. We're not in a bland life. We're in a life that's full of mystery, full of giving off life, full of energy. I really do believe that. And it'll reveal itself to whoever will
Yeah.
just stop and listen and just be still. you know
Can, can
Go
I
ahead.
just thing real quick?
Go
Um,
ahead.
so for my husband's birthday one year, he wanted to go down into the Grand Canyon to the village of Supai.
Hmm.
And so I said, absolutely. So we went down and we had a wonderful weekend. And as we were getting ready to leave, I walked over in the middle of the village. And I remember looking down at my feet and thinking, I'm standing in a perfect circle. I mean, I could feel the energy coming out of the ground around me. And a man walked up to me. I looked up and he walked up to me and he said, "What do you do?" And I said, "You mean for a living?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "If I'm lucky, I work in film and TV," which I was doing at that time. And he said, "I want to talk to you about something. I felt I should speak with you. They are uranium mining here in the Grand Canyon. And the water it's getting into the water and my people are getting sick." He's Damon Warahamaji. He's a member of the Havasupai. So I flew out of the Grand Canyon with my husband, and all of a sudden, things started happening, like getting off the helicopter up top. Just a huge amount of butterflies. My husband couldn't believe it. Just started circling around me, and so I pretty quickly I realized that something was happening, very important. So I started calling people, and I called Manny Pino, who's from Acoma Pueblo and a former professor and a friend of mine. And I went to visit him in his office, and he called this guy. And I
Mm.
realized as we got to know each other, me and Norman, that I'd actually been at events where he had been, but we didn't know each other yet.
Mm.
And then I realized that this is the creator, this is the universe's way of bringing people together to help, to do something good, you know?
Yeah.
And so anyway, I just wanted, but it was a magical thing that happened. And the thing was to recognize that, you know? And so anyway, that's, and
Yeah.
so
Sorry to cut
Well,
you off, Norman. Oh wait, no, Darren has a
but
question. Go ahead, Darren.
but one thing I heard about finding perfect circles in nature is it's besides it being not
Oh.
been a portal.
it's told that a great blessing, a great prayer was said in that spot, you know, to find a perfect circle. And I seen such stuff like this. Me and my friends, you know, just being kids, we're sitting outside, built a fire just out of bushes, and we're all just talking, just kids. And right when the fire went away, a circle, perfect circle, was in that ash afterwards. And after a while, I started wondering, like, why? And that's when it was told to me that a great prayer was said right there amongst me and my friends. So I was like, wow, that's wow. I was sitting there after, like, years later. I was sitting there thinking about it. I was like, huh, it was. I wonder what was going on, you know, at that time. But you know, for you, seeing kind of a perfect circle, you know, you brought you, not just you two together, but you guys started uh, going against uranium mining too. So you know, like what a great way for the world to show, you know, do such great things like this. It's amazing. You know, it just makes the world a lot more. It makes the world better. And just, you know, just nothing like little mysterious happenings like these that just makes you kind of think more. You know, think. But going back to Ramah Navajo, thank you for, you know, wanting to help people with going through such problems. I think this is the reason why one of the reasons, the backbone or the foundation of this podcast was to help. You know, personally, I went through a lot of stuff that I could never, you know, never talk to anybody about, because, like, where do you go? Who do you go to when you say you've seen a werewolf? You know, like who do you talk to? You know, and especially with Bigfoot. We had an encounter with Bigfoot out there in Pine Hill, out there in Unit 5, in that area. It's, you know, you see lights. Just a couple of days ago, I showed Don videos of lights in the trees. You know, UFOs up in the sky, and these are videos that we took not too long ago. And you know, it's a really weird, mysterious place. Pine Hill, Ramah. You know, everybody seems to have stories, and I'm no exception. I have my encounters. You know, stuff that I seen and went through, and stuff that is constantly happening. You know, like besides Bigfoot, we've seen an exorcism happen out there out there in Pine Hill, about maybe a mile away from where I live. You know, and that's when I'm trying to work on getting the firekeeper for that, the preacher for that to come on and tell the world, you know. And also, you know, they say they see portals out there. You know, I'm no exception. I've seen some stuff that I would consider a portal to myself. But
Darren.
you know, it's good to hear. It's good to hear. It put a smile on my face when I seen Raymond Navajo Bigfoot group in the store at the local chum bucket right there at Pine Hill, and I was like, wow, like, who's this? Like, this is so cool. and I looked around. Everybody was wondering, like, wow, who's doing this, you know? And a couple months later, you know, we started the podcast, and now you guys are here, which is really good stuff to happen. Uh, Actually, El Moro, there's a Bigfoot sighting in the picture. That's what got me and Don together,
Yeah,
and that's not too far from Ramah either. So,
I
they,
that photo is amazing. It's
Yep.
hello.
We're gonna catch up with our comments. We got a lot of comments going on here. Sorry to
Man, I'm going through
interrupt.
difficulties right now.
Yeah,
The
we're just going up,
mic
but
went off. Hold on.
we're gonna catch up. All right. It says, "Nice to meet you, Mr. Brown, and thank you for your time, stories, and information." Let's see here. People in the Grand Canyon are fighting it. Okay, yeah, talking about the. Let's see here.
Hold on, guys. I might cut back and I'll jump back in. My earphones are going bad right now.
It's all good. Heidi says, "Hello, Don, Darren, Norman. Much love from Boulder." We didn't bring Jenny on, so that's why she didn't say hi, Jenny. I went back out. I finally seen Jenny. I was like, "Oh snap!" I
This
thought you were gonna join in like that together right now, but my
this is the guy.
bad. Okay, let's see here. Let me look into the. We got to catch up on all these things right here. People saying hello. Let's see here. I think this is talking about the gifts. You can receive it near. You can receive it also from a near death experience. I think about the gifts. Yep, and then right here, a lot of our medicine men use their gifts after the war. Yeah, yeah. Let's see here. They prophesy. Yeah, they can prophesy. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Michelle says hello.
Hello.
And Shadow IDK, hello. And then
Uh,
Melody, is that your
hey,
sister?
Molly. Yeah, it's my sister.
Oh,
She
awesome.
was excited. She was excited too when I told her we got the Bigfoot group right there at the house too. So
Cool. And then Myths, Monsters, and Mullets came in late. I'll have to listen to the replay. Please
mm,
do, my friend. Please do. Let's see
yep,
here. Enjoying this episode. Thank you, Dale Jeff. Thank you for listening, Dale.
yep,
Thank you. And Tyson Lolito, how's it going, brother T here? Great show once again. Thank you,
yep.
brother, for joining us.
Thank you,
Thank
thank you.
you. Let's see here. Da, da,
One
da.
thing I'd like to share is that years ago, Jenny had moved to Phoenix.
Yeah.
Her husband is a really great man, Larry, and really loved Navajo people and people. So he got really sick, right? So Jenny went to spend time with him and help him in Gilbert. So I stayed at her place. I took care of the place there. And one of the greatest things I ever experienced in my life was coming into that community, the Rama community, the Navajo Band of Rama, they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And there, people were just so kind. I got invited to homes to eat. At the store, everybody said hello, Mr. Brown, and I got a family there that are real close to me. I call them brother and sister, and they check up on me, see how I was, and it was just really great people there. They just treated me like one of their own. I was there close to a year, and it was such a great, great people. I went to all around Rima. I took a tour
Mm-hmm.
of it. I met a lot of families. I went to their chapter. It was a really good experience for me. I really enjoyed myself there. I've never seen so many beautiful sunsets as I have at Rama than anywhere.
Yep,
Amazing, aren't
yep,
they?
yep. That's
Yeah.
just a fact right there. It's really
Yeah.
beautiful place. That
So
I
and
gotta check it out.
the
I
snow is
got
like 4 feet, 5 feet.
you. Ooh.
And to take
mm,
a snow bath, there's like a heaven, man.
Yeah.
You get
Yep.
all wear your trunks and you just oh yeah. I mean, I loved it there.
I bet. I gotta
But
check
anyway,
it out.
I wanted to share something too. Is that
Yeah.
one of the greatest things as I look back in life is being born a Dine person. I say it in a really humble way because over my lifetime, I've learned so much about who we are and our connection to the forces of nature. Yes. How these sand paintings come alive, the representations of those sand paintings, those deities come and they're actually there. They come in and the songs, they hear it, and there's this interaction. Then the plants. So many of my friends are herbalists, you know, and they tell me stories about the plants and how to pick them. And they're like people, then the evergreens and the cedar. I mean, those all, there's over a dozen different Navajo tobaccos, and each of those have a different role for the mental, physical, you know, then sometimes they're mixed together for, so it's just, then the stars, the stories I've heard about the stars and the mountains and the animals and the bird life and you know the deer, how special they are, and the bears, they're like people. I mean, I, the rivers, the creeks, the springs that we did offer. I mean, the geographical formations have energy, and Monument Valley is incredible, and there's places in Canyon de Chelly that I go with just my tobacco, and I don't know how else I would be who I am without being Navajo. And if I was a Mexican, would I feel the same? I don't think so, because being a Dine person is really enlightening. It's a high level of ceremonial discipline, high level beyond professorship. You know, it's just another high level of intellect, of language, ceremonial language that ties to secrets of how the universe created, how the four mountains came into being, you know, and how the earth is a woman and changing woman, you know. So there's all these talking God, you know, there's names for them, monster slayer, you know, and these deities that they're just everywhere, male and female. You know, the tornadoes. Then you have the light dust devils, they call them. Then you have the thunder and rain. Then you have the female rain. You have all the rainbow, the big rainbow. Then you have the small rainbow. Then you have a double rainbow. Then there's, it's just everything means everything. Mm-hmm. And
Mhm.
it's just so much beauty in being a Dine person. So when I see others capitalizing, stereotyping us, it really upsets me because they have no idea who
Mhm.
we are.
They don't.
And like my dad said, when I was like 12 or 13, he was a code talker. He sat me down. My dad was pretty harsh, pretty hardcore, but he, you know, he never abused us or hurt us or anything. But one day he says, sit down. And I sat down and he says, you're not an American. He goes, nor are you a Navajo. He said this in Navajo to me. Okay, Dad, this metaphor kind of stuff you're telling me, what are you trying to tell me? And I said, yeah, I said, now I said, what do you mean? And he looked at me and he goes, you are no Nokati and Dine. No, Ka is like earth surface. Digen means holy. The Na means people or person. You are not a American, nor are you a Navajo. You're a holy earth surface person. Now, act like it, speak like it, think like one, become one in how you are and how you act. And that was so meaningful because from that holy earth surface person, it made me the center of the universe. It made me the center of the plant world, the water world, the insect world, everything. I was in the center of all that. And I wasn't um, dominant of any of those things. In fact, we're like, they're everything. We are just a small part of it. And we were so blessed to have all these ceremonies with the water, the rain, the thunder, the lightning, the earth prayers and the herb prayers and the water prayer. I mean, there's just a prayer ceremony for so many things. And I just love hearing stories. My elders, especially the young people, uh, uh, and just being the Nez is just it's just so beautiful, you know. And I want to live to 120, you know, because just I love being the Nez. I want to experience everything, the good and the bad, the ugly and the beautiful. You know, it's just uh, uh, to be the Nez, you have to experience the worst of each of the good and the bad. And where you come together of your healing is when you cleanse yourself. Like there's things that happened to me over my past. I'm still having these ceremonies. Oh, this happened to you when you were 30 years old. They did this to you. Oh, wow. So let's get rid of that. So each time they get rid of something, I stand a little taller, you know, and I feel more stronger. And it is true. When you're young, I don't know other cultures or other tribes but in the Newe, you know, everything's so sacred that if you walk by a lightning tree and you smell it, that's going to impact your life for the rest of your life. So you got to have you get like symptoms of bloated stomach, you have lightheadedness, no matter how much water you drink, you know, then they say that's onset to diabetes. So then, then you move on, you forget about it. Then let's say a snake comes into your house or whatever, that energy is really powerful and it permeates that area. And who knows, it might be scent or whatever. But anyway, you get the symptoms again of whatever that. Then you go through it and you say, oh, I'm okay. But when you later on, you get older, you say, oh God, what's that? You know, you go to the hospital, you know, and all your tests are normal, but you feel so then you have ceremony. So it is true that you got to be careful growing up in your young life. Try not to, you know, abuse your
Carry snake.
body. Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now I'm 65, right? And it is true from 55 on now, all these ailments, you know, cramp, all these different things. So now that I've got rid of them, of what I did as a young person, like I
Mm-hmm.
almost drowned in a river one time. And so I had to have that corrected
Mm-hmm.
because that river had a holy being, was a holy being inside it. And so I had to correct that. And then it involved my breathing. I kept having these shortness of breath and I couldn't understand that, you know, because I ran and exercised. And so I guess the message is, I don't know, for humanity or whatever tribe, you know, you'll finally feel the effects of your life. So the best advice is be careful how you walk, how you interact with nature, how you interact with animals or insects, and you know, um, like an example, um, you're a little kid, and one of my neighbors had a magnifying glass. I was like 7 years old or something, and he was having a magnifying glass burning these ants, these red ants. I said, "What are you doing?" You know, I was like 7 or 8, first grade or second grade. And he was just laughing. I said, that's not cool. He goes, "You try it." I said, "No." So finally I did. And I burned the ant and I felt awful. And I just let it go. So
Mhm.
guess what? A year ago, I started having those symptoms. Went to the hospital, like just a checkup. And so I went to see this man. He goes, "You need that ant way.
Wow.
Did you do this when you were a boy? Did you do this?" I said, "Yeah." So
Wow.
as a young person or someone in their middle, you got to live a good life because they'll come back and you got to
Come
correct.
back on
The danger is that a lot of these corrections are gone because the ceremonies are gone.
you. Yeah.
People are not learning. So, like the eclipse,
Mm-hmm.
that's powerful.
Yeah.
And what if there's no more people that do that? Then your mind's going to be in this constant state of depression and
Upheaval.
your eyes you'll go blind. So there's all these interaction as a Diné person. I don't know how the other tribes are, but within
Probably
Diné,
the same, maybe. We got less than 9 minutes
oh,
left. We're gonna. So I take it we're gonna have to schedule a part two and talk about Bigfoot, because we didn't get into the
right,
Bigfoot. So it's, 2 hours is almost up, guys. No, it's all good. No, it's all good. As long as you guys can, talk about everything paranormal, ceremonies. We are educator as well. And educate people on the culture and paranormal and. Oh, but go ahead. I just wanted to warn you. We got like a few minutes left. Go ahead, Jenny.
Okay, I just wanted to say one more thing. My first experiences with the paranormal began where I grew up in the Adirondack Mountains, right below Montreal, Canada, and way in upstate New York. And, you know, astral traveling, being touched, things like that have been with me all my life. But I think that's where I also had my first experience with the big fella. But we can go into that at another time. But I think that that's something that's I've always been that way, Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I just wanted to give a little bit of a shout out to Adirondack Bigfoot, John, kind of connecting with his group too has really reminded me a lot of home, where I grew up in the land of the Iroquois, man. I mean, it was, I grew up way away from anybody else, no neighbors except pine trees and oak trees. And so I think something must have been talking to me and I listened. But anyway, I wanted to thank you very much for having me on, and Norman too, but I'll
yeah,
let him say what he needs to. And
yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, sister.
You're welcome.
One thing I wanted to share as a screenwriter, as a filmmaker, and um, is that paranormal stuff, the 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 dark side. As a filmmaker, I've seen attempts of doing stories about the dark side
That's
of Navajo,
yeah.
and what I've learned is that those people that did that, they had a lot of bad luck. And one
Wow.
of the first things, as I got blessed years and years ago by grandpa, he told me not to be making those types of films about
Ooh.
those that run around at night, and
Mhm.
and don't depict those things. So to our Diné people, that's that's not for us. You know, we can create stories, but we got to be really careful how we create stories, and we can't share too much of, you know, our way of life, and we can still be creative. It's just
Mhm.
we have to be disciplined in how we promote our stories, and
Mhm.
we shouldn't allow others to dictate to us who we are, how we are, and what we are through their own narrative or interpretation. And
Mhm.
stolen intellectual property rights, like the Hillermans, you know. But I
Mhm.
just wanted to share that because that was one of the biggest teachings. Is was that don't be making stories like that, son, because it'll come back at you in some way. So that's why I don't delve into that, you know, that dark side in my screenwriting, images or stuff like that.
Mhm. Yeah, just even speaking
Uh,
about paranormal stuff, being Dine, that's the first thing they'll ask. The skinwalkers. And here I'm about to talk about Bigfoot. You know, I have a lot of stories on Bigfoot, and then boom, skinwalkers. I'm like, all right, I'll tell you
huh.
what do you want to know. But Darren, is there anything you want to say before we close out today?
Oh, first of all, thank you guys. Thank you for joining joining us for the podcast. I know time is money, and sometimes you can't afford to be sick. It sucks. It sucks, but thank you for uh, not just speaking, but dropping some knowledge. People need more food for thought. Especially being a Native American. I think uh, altogether we just want we long for a community. To go to, and in the community, there's freedom. There's together we are free. Let us be free again. Um, uh, Thank you guys. Rama Bigfoot Group, thank you for supporting and helping others. We'll get back to that. I know there's a lot of stuff in Rama
We didn't
and
cover.
Pine Hill that,
Mhm.
yeah, that and pictures that I took and videos that I
Yeah,
recorded.
yeah. These guys too. They have pictures that we didn't get into.
Wow.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm gonna wind us down, Darren. I'll see you guys on the other side. So you
Thank
guys want to say laters one more time? All
all right,
Wonderful.
later.
you, man. Like
Yeah,
your
thank you.
Yeah, it's great. I learned a lot.
right, all the time,
Yep,
all
yep,
the time.
got to,
Yeah,
got to.
yes, Norman, as a filmmaker and producer, we should all get together. Oh, wait. Oh,
yeah,
we should all get together, Don, Darren, and you two, and make our own Bigfoot and Skinwalker documentaries.
yeah. I'd
Hey,
like to do a Bigfoot drama. Heck,
yeah, yeah,
Oh yeah,
no,
he's real.
yeah,
He's out there.
Oh,
yeah. But
definitely.
guys, I'm gonna be kicking us off here. I'll see
Okay,
you
all
guys on the other side. Don't leave it. Don't leave it.
much.
All right, see you guys. Um, quick announcement here. Don't Whistle at Night podcast. We're going to be going to primetime September. We're going to pick a date on September 1st. What time we're going to go prime time. So stay tuned. And thank you for tuning into Don't Whistle at Night. We've been broadcasting here on the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans. You guys have a great week. Thank you. Goodbye.